Stream, starting the recording. Hey everyone, this is episode 398 of the OotiniCast, being recorded on October the 6th of 2020. This is actually our second go at it. We had some sort of technical issue. Seems to be working now, so we're going to get going again. And yeah, so let me... Is this working? Let me try restarting the Twitch as well. This is the raw version of the show, and then we will put this out as a podcast tomorrow. Yep. Stream seems to be going. And yeah, let me go ahead and put this down. Get everything kind of set up how I like it. And I'll be ready. All right. So, okay, I think we're back. It seems to be working. We'll get
Hi,
going.
everybody.
So,
Do it again.
Sometimes it's just going to be like that.
That's the way it is.
So 2 episodes from now will be the big 400 show. We're starting to make some plans now, and we're going to start ramping that up later this week in terms of like getting requests out and stuff like that. Anyway, so yes, episode 398. We'll get going here, and is your Audacity still running, Kitty, and all that?
Yep.
We're good to go. All right, then
Good to go.
I will go in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that has taken the fleet emperor knows where. This is episode 398, being recorded on Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Chill. Hey, chat.
No guests today. We're just going to jump right into it. And Kitty, what you been up to since the last show?
I have been doing life a lot.
Okay.
It seemed like it snuck in and just wrecked my gaming time, but that's all right. Still doing some streaming. I missed Jar Jar this week because I wasn't feeling very well, but
Right.
we're going to get in there and get it this Friday.
Awesome.
I got a new mouse. I'm
yeah.
left-handed, so I've been using ambidextrous mice or whatever forever.
Okay.
And I've always wanted a Naga. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's one of them.
The Naga MMO mouse. And I finally got it, and there's a huge learning curve. My muscle memory keeps trying, whenever I interrupt, I have that hotkey to my mouse. So whenever I'm like, my finger still goes to it. So fights have been very interesting.
Right.
I figure it's taking me about a half a second to get to the interrupt button. And sometimes if I have to do multiple things because I have multiple things hotkeyed on the mouse, then it takes me like almost a whole second to do it, which, as you know, a second's way too long.
Right.
So I've been having I made it fun. I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do. Once I get it done, then I'll be better off. So I'm just going to make it fun. And every time I actually get an interrupt in, I celebrate a little bit inside. But
Nice.
We'll see what happens. I'm sure I'm going to like it. It got like 12, the 12 key on the side one. Oh,
That kind, yeah.
it's great. I've been waiting, I think, for about almost 5 years to get one because they stopped making them.
Oh, did they?
So through demand, Southpaws Unite, they finally put out another order of them. I think that they sold out too. I'm not sure about that, but I heard that that they only made a certain amount. So
So you
anyway.
so you do mouse with your left hand now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm full lefty. Like I play guitar with my fretboard. My fret hand is my right hand, and my picking hand's my left hand.
So that's left-handed,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, it's kind of fun, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's frustrating, and it's a lot more sensitive, and I love it. It's just taking it. I'm easing into it, if you will.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that would take me a long time. I'm left-handed, but I do mouse with my right hand. Always have.
How do you do that?
For me, it's just easier. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
I have to redo everything on my keyboard. I have to key bind everything to the right hand side of the keyboard. Like I don't
Right.
do the E whatever W to move around. I have to go all the way to the other side. So
Yeah. I think early on when I realized that mice were going to be, like, they were in it for the long term, they were going to be ubiquitous, they were going to be, long-term devices that were going to be used for pretty much forever. I realized that all the righties were using right-handed mice, and if I just picked it up from the beginning with a right-handed mouse, I would just be a lot happier because I wouldn't have to like look around for left-handed mice all the time.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. My left hand is a Nostromo, a Razer Nostromo, so that's sort of, it's kind of takes the place of keyboarding for the most part, but it's also got it's got its own scroll wheel. It's got a thumb joystick. It's got actually two different kinds of thumb joysticks. It's got a little button you can tap with your thumb as well. It's really, really nice. I'm such a fan of the Razer Nostromo. This is actually my second one. I finally wore out the first one, and about a year to two ago, I just bought another one, and they really haven't changed much, which is fine by me because I wanted it exactly like the old one. And even the old one is pretty much usable, except one button is that there's one button that's just not quite working right. So I decided to go ahead and get the new one. Yeah.
When you feel that button going out, you're like,
yeah. It's the one on the for the thumb. It's above the thumb joystick, and it's because of that. It's the ones under your fingers are very nice and soft, and they are rock solid. Like none of them have ever gone bad on me. But the one above the thumb joystick is a different type of button, and because of that, it is able to kind of go out eventually. So unfortunately, it did, but it's all good. So yes, and actually. Funny that you should mention that. I actually started learning the guitar like this week.
I can give you lessons.
You might have
was
to.
A teacher for a long time.
Yeah. Well, maybe so, because I mean, I'm very COVID paranoid, which is so I'm doing it over YouTube videos at the moment. But I did buy a left-handed guitar for my 50th birthday last month. Oh. And then I kind of put it aside because I knew like once I picked it up, I wanted to be able to like keep at it every day and get into the habit, and I wasn't quite ready. And then I brought it with me to the beach because I was out. I know we're kind of moving away from your week, but we'll get back to you. But this last week I went out to the beach with my new wife and our kids and started picking up the guitar left-handed, and very difficult, but I'm enjoying it. So
you get it.
I'm pretty happy. Yeah. I am keeping it up every day. Lil, and I will at least until late in this month when I'm going to be visiting my mom. As you know from the other show, my dad did die, and I am planning to go visit her and my sister and sister-in-law and nephew, and go. We'll all comfort each other, and anyway. But that's going to be coming, important. And I don't really plan on bringing my guitar for that. That's going to be too difficult to do, I think. So I'm going to have to put aside the habit for a little bit and then pick it back up. Not ideal, but that's not important. So
I'll give you a couple exercises that you can do.
Nice.
That'll help your dexterity.
Yeah, and if you know any specifically left-handed tips or tricks, then I'll definitely need those for sure. But yeah,
okay, we'll do it at some point.
Yeah. So yep.
Oh, go ahead.
So what else have you done since the last show?
I started a new Marauder best class.
Nice.
Shout out
this is
to
like right.
Shout out to Marcus.
To Marcus, of course. But you've done several Marauders lately too, or Marauders and Sentinels, right?
It is. Yeah, it's it's my favorite class to play right now. It has my favorite rotation, but with the new mouse, it's hard. Because Marauder has a lot of
buttons, and it's very rotation heavy.
Right,
they're all instants, so you're always moving and changing real fast. There's always something new to do. Yeah,
but it's rough. But like I said, we're gonna get it.
Which spec are you working on?
The Fury spec. God, I don't know.
Is that the smashy? Is that what?
I think it's a cross between the spike and the dot spec. It's like the happy medium between those.
Is it the one where you have that like one real cheap ability that then gives you a bunch of like armor pen for a few seconds? Is it that one?
I don't think it's that one.
It's not that one.
I don't know. I should know. It's my favorite class, and I've played it. I think I've played it like 30 times, but I don't know. I got an old brain. It's been knocked around too many times.
Right. Fair enough.
That's about it. That's what's up with folks in chat.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks to anyone who did make it, because we did have, right before we started the show, we had some technical issues and we had to come back. But so Commander Kato, welcome. Dekion's here. Evans is here. Master Lil, Pritikill, Arjar, Squishy Twitchy are all here. Thanks for coming. And let's see. So, like I said, most of last week I was kind of out at the beach, which was great. Did make it back in time on Friday. We did the Temple of Sacrifice operation for the Jar Jar Joyride. Difficult even on story mode, because we did also, especially since we did 16 man version, and we did it with 14. So we got a couple of bosses down. We couldn't get past the Twin Walkers, however. So got to the Twin Walkers and just kind of got hard stuck there. Unfortunate. It was still a lot of fun though. We were all having a blast and running around. We also tried the big walker out in Yavin, that weekly walker boss. But yeah, with only 14 of us, there's no way. Unfortunately, you need like more than 16 really to take down that guy. Yeah, that did not do it.
He hits like a truck.
Yeah, we are planning, and as Dekion puts in chat, we are planning on hitting that one again, Temple of Sacrifice on Friday, and so we're planning on getting it this time. I think I can be there, so I want to be there, and we were pretty close, because with the walkers, we got them down to like literally like a sliver of health before the enrage took us out. It's sort of it's not exactly I wouldn't call it a soft enrage, but it's not like one of those hard enrage instant kills either. It's kind of like a very quickly ramping up enrage. it's a hard soft enrage, let's call it.
And that whole
we got him
operation,
so close.
It has a lot of mechanics in it, so you got to kind of do the things when you're supposed to do them.
Yeah,
or else.
Absolutely. It was fun seeing it again, because I hadn't seen it. This might have been the first time I was in it since Shadow of Revan was the expansion. Back when we were actually doing operation groups. Yeah, it's just not a really common one to hit, or and probably a bit of luck. I just haven't happened to be with the groups when we've been doing it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to see it again, and it's a fun one to tank. Yeah, I was tanking it. It's a fun one to tank. There's definitely some actual mechanics even in story mode. There's a tank swap on the first boss, and depending on which of the two walkers you get, you have to do different things, stuff like that. So good stuff. Nice. Beyond that, what I did for double XP, made a pureblood Sith called Siren. And she just hit 75 today. I had a very short stream today, but I got her from like 72 to 75. Lightning Source Sork. And it's actually a pretty fun spec. It's been a while since I've done it, and it's really, really pretty good. I did unlock the Dread DRED-RED Cartel Market companion. So it's a dual wielder, but it's a melee dual wielder. So it's a droid.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's one of those that you can't send them out on crew missions, but they can be out fighting you out in the field. And it seems to do pretty good damage. It's nice to kind of have my other companions just doing the crew skills. And so now I have QO, which is a dual wield range companion, and I have now Dread for dual wield melee companion. Yeah, it seems to be, it's kind of worth it. Yeah,
I heard he does really good DPS.
He does do pretty good DPS from what I can tell. It has that sort of dual wield, little bit of extra damage that you don't necessarily get from single weapon companions. So,
cool.
Yep. So that felt pretty good. Not a cosplay character, just kind of like an RP character. So that was pretty good. That was kind of fun too. If I had an idea, I might have gone with it, but I just wanted to make like a Sith and kind of go with like, the idea is like she's very into being like part of the Sith society. As an Inquisitor, you start off as a slave, and which for a pureblood Sith is very unusual. Like there are not very many enslaved pureblood Siths, so you have to sort of like figure that either her family completely effed up or whatever. But anyway, so. Yeah, so I played her very much like dark side, very invested in that whole Sith thing of, the Sith Empire being the best, and, traditions
Patriotic.
and all that stuff. So
How long did
fun
it
to
take
see.
you?
With the double XP, it was really, really fast, like blazingly fast. I didn't keep track of the hours. I haven't done like slash played on her or anything, but yeah, it's it's just
It's
brutally
quick, right?
fast. Yeah, and I did actually, just for fun, I also did like the XP gear, which I did not do like the other time.
Oh, so you did use the XP
This
gear.
time I did. It was crazy fast. Yeah,
Oh man.
crazy fast. So it was
Yes.
XP gear, XP boost, double XP event, and I was in the guild from level 1 as well. So
You got
that's like another,
you got all
that's like what, another 8% XP or whatever it is. I can't remember what the bonus is anymore. There's too
think
many
it's
numbers
15.
to remember for me to remember it anymore. It's
I
crazy.
know.
So so that was good times. And so for the next couple of weeks, though, I will, until the next show, I will be in town. So we should be able to figure out something to go. I'll have to figure out someone else to level, I suppose, or maybe I keep taking the sorcerer through the story. I'm not sure. I'm kind of enjoying the spec, but I'd be perfectly willing to start a new character as well. So I haven't made up my mind. We'll see.
We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. That'll bring
Lightning
us.
Sword's so fun though.
It is, yeah. And I kind of forgot,
Throwing
like,
lightning's the best.
I kind of forgot, like, it's more mobile than I remember, because there's a lot of things that let you cast things that are normally hard cast, and they either become instant, or there's that one utility that you can do your Thundering Blast on the move.
Right.
So, and then the new ability is like that little instant zap thing as well. It's not a very exciting ability, though. The damage seems to be pretty meh. Maybe, I forget what it's called. It's the one you get at like level 72.
Right.
And it has like 3 stacks. And the first stack, it does is like really, really poor damage. And then the second stack it does 30% more, and then 60% total more. And I don't know. I guess I think there's a tactical and some set bonus stuff that kind of works with it. And maybe those make it worthwhile, but I don't know. It didn't feel very powerful. Maybe I'm not using it right, and you have to weave it in, because I know there's like the stack thing, and the stack lasts a little while. Anyway, I'll worry about that later. Let's go on to the tip of the week. I just did one myself this week. So with double XP rolling, you're going to be out leveling your content pretty much regardless of what you do. Maybe if you're free to play, you won't. Because you don't have the little bit of extra XP from being a subscriber, but pretty much everyone's going to be like over leveling their content. And if you're leveling a new character and you're past the level of that planet and you're being ranked down to whatever the maximum for that planet is, don't worry too much about improving your gear all the way up. So anytime you're being leveled down, as long as you have something in that slot, it will count towards your stats. So if you're using modifiable armor, you might be tempted, like every few levels, to go back to the fleet vendor or whatever and grab the new, mods and enhancements and armorings and all that. Don't. The stats only go up, until you're at that cap. And if you're at that cap, you're pretty much going to be capped out. No matter what you do to your gear at that point, it's just going to cap. One of the exceptions is the enhancements. The enhancements actually have crit, accuracy, and alacrity, and those can creep up. So if you really, really want to, you can do enhancements on the way up, and it will sort of improve it, but really don't worry about it too much. If you're being ranked down, you don't need the best gear. Just get whatever you're getting, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, you can go 5 to 10 levels before gearing.
Yeah.
And if you're running dailies at all, you'll get gear from there. So
right. And in this case, what I did is when I was leveling this character and kind of watching it, and it's like I think because the leveling was so dang fast, by the time I got to the fleet, I was like level 18, or maybe it was 22, something like that, one of those two levels. So when I first put the stuff in the armor, it was all like at level 18, level 22. And then I upgraded at like level 30 something, and I was watching it because I actually did it on the planet, and like nothing was going up. I was like putting in all these armorings and mods, and the stats didn't change, not one bit. Until you put the enhancements in, then it's like, okay, the alacrity is actually ticking up. So
interesting.
Yeah, so don't bother. Just don't bother. If you're being ranked down and you've got something in that slot, that's good enough for leveling. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it's kind of a waste of credits at some point. So for sure.
Also, if you're giving your character, you're building all the things for your character, your weapon, your armor, and things like that, it's really not worth it to do every level that you can get that gear, because you're just going to out level it in an hour or two. So
that's a good point.
You said, pick and choose.
Right. And even when I'm doing, like, if I do decide to do crafting on a leveling character, which itself might be a bit of a waste. If this is just a character I'm just leveling to level, and then I'm going to move on from that character, and it's not going to be something I'm actually using at endgame, I probably shouldn't be crafting at all. But if you are, you don't have to get all the recipes on the way up. Just pick a few along the way and enjoy that. And then maybe hit the end game ones, because those actually turn into something valuable. Yeah. They can be very nice.
Biochem.
Yeah, exactly. Biochem. That is my go-to.
Me too.
Why not? Because at least you can just make the stuff, and your main characters can then make it or whatever. Or if it does become a main character, then you have a fairly useful one that you can make all kinds of good stuff on. Good stuff. All right, that'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And so last week we tweeted out, what do you spend the largest part of your cartel coins on? Please retweet for the next show. And there were 4 options. There was unlocks, armor and weapons, packs, and then other, in case someone had, I tried to think real hard, but I just decided, okay, we'll just do other and see what people say. And we had 283 votes, not a huge amount, but a pretty good amount, not bad. I think it was probably, maybe minimized a little bit by the fact that, like, if people are free to play, or if they're, if they, only don't have any cartel market coins, then they're not going to be able to answer this question.
That's a good point.
So, but whatever, it's fine. And it turned out armor and weapons actually won by a fairly good amount, 45.9% armor and weapons, so just call it 46%. Unlocks took second with 30.4%, and packs were 16.6%, and then other was 7.1%. And there was a fair number of people who put other and then specified something, and the most common one for other was decorations, actually, which I thought was interesting. I thought maybe people might specify, actually no one said like color crystals or anything like that, or even dyes, which I thought people might mention those, but that turned out to be not the case. Decorations was actually the other that was the most common. For me, it's unlocks. Like, usually what I'll do is I'll try really hard not to spend, cartel coins on actual packs. I will save up credits and buy them off the GTN if at all possible.
That's
if at all possible. And then once I have a whole set, I can then spend a much, more reasonable amount to actually unlock it for the whole account. And I find that to be kind of the way for me to go. And I also do unlocks a lot for just in general, like, to unlock emotes. Anything that I unlock, I like to unlock for the whole account now. It's not something I used to do, but nowadays I usually do it. And like, if I like an armor set enough, I will usually unlock it for the whole thing. Yeah. So for me, it was unlocks. I do actually spend a fair amount on packs, not for myself, but because I buy them for the people who win the contest. So. So that's what I spend the rest of it on. I rarely from the cartel market directly buy armor and weapons, and yet that was el numero uno. So I thought that was very interesting. How about you, Kitty?
I am armor and weapons. As you know, okay. I do nightmare mode Space Barbie, which is very expensive on the old wallet. Yeah, it would be. But I do the same thing you do. I get on the GTN. What I do is I just type in, what is it? I go to the armor, and then I put, I forgot what I put in there. Anyway, it shows me all the armor sets. Right. I think it's set. And then I just click the lowest, make it the lowest number first for credits. Then I just go through and just pick stuff out. If there's something I want, I get it.
Okay.
And then I go to the most expensive, which is where you're going to get all the good stuff. And I kind of scroll around there till I find something I want, and then highlight it, hit it again so that only that comes up.
Uh-huh.
Go to the lowest number and like see what it says. If
Wow.
it's, less expensive, I pick that up. But I've been buying a lot of packs or a lot of weapons and armor off of the cartel market.
Directly off the cartel market. Okay.
I'm like, I want it. especially with the flash sales. They get me on the flash sales a lot. I think last week I bought 4 of the flash sale items.
Wow.
Because I needed it. It matched an outfit or whatever the hell it was. But and then what I do is I save up, I splurge on Life Day. I buy myself a nice big fat chunk of cartel coins, and I unlock everything that I want to unlock. But I try to stay away from unlocking until there's a sale, because once
the
that
unlock
half
sale,
price unlock, I'm in.
Right.
I'm like,
go through, unlock.
Need.
That's
Because
nice.
I'll buy an outfit just for the boots or just for the gloves,
right?
Or whatever it is.
I prefer doing it that way too now, because like if I get that one for that one character, that's fine and all. But then if I ever need it again, or I need some other part of the same set, starting from scratch, buddy.
Why not? And some of those, some of the outfits that are really, really cool. I forgot what the outfit's called, but it's like an armored chest piece, it looks Mandalorian, and it has like a little scarf over the back. It's very inexpensive, and I think it unlocked for 150 or something really low. But
nice.
If it's one of those, I'll sneak a couple of those in because you need it. It's important.
Nice.
But yeah,
that's
so armor and weapons for me.
So where do you usually make your your credits from to buy stuff off of the GTN?
I do several things. I sometimes buy things on the GTN and sell them. Sometimes I make things, craft things, and sell those.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. Like there's a sweet spot when the numbers meet up. That's when I'll go and get it, like armor pieces or weapons or a biochem stuff. I'll do, sell that. But I only do it when it's at a certain price. So if I'm not making the expected profit that I'm going to make, I don't do it.
Just don't bother. Yeah.
I've been very lucky, and people have donated a lot of cartel coins to me.
Nice.
And that's probably the most. Thank you, everybody, for the donation. Thank you for being giving me money so I can pursue the space Barbie enablers. But yeah,
that is awesome. Yeah. So yeah, usually for me, if I need credits, usually to make a new character, because a new character nowadays for me is like something like an 8 million credit proposition, roughly, with the various unlocks and so on.
You gotta have those unlocks.
Yeah. I'd say the main way is purple med packs, because I'm kind of lazy that way. You can make purple med packs relatively straightforwardly. You can also make them in bits, like you can do green cell graphs, blue cell graphs, make your purple cell graphs, and then when I have a nice fat 50 character, send them out on the actual crafting of the med packs. And purple med packs sell very well. And then the other thing is, because my banking alt, who I'm on every day, is a synth weaver, she has the recipe for the crit augment. And so once in a while I'll make a crit augment, and nowadays it's roughly 5 million. It's in that range, because it has a bunch of the embers and all that. So they are expensive to make, or at least you could just sell the embers directly. I could do that, but I've been generally making the augments instead. It works pretty well.
That's some of the stuff I sell as well.
Yeah.
Depending on,
Something I thought I found out that I did not realize, actually, and we'll just consider this a second tip of the week. every week Kaizen has those little like synth weaving or armor mech, the set thing that you can buy and then craft with it. Right. Turns out those things don't bind. They're not bind to legacy. They're just free. You can put them on the GTN. And what happened is I did the Jar Jar Joyride, and then afterwards I went and bought the thing, and I put it in my legacy bank, and I was going to get on my banking character to see if she actually needed it or not. And if I wasn't, well, I would, before I have the 2 hour whatever, the 2 hour time limit to turn it back in. And then I forgot about it. I didn't get back on my banking alt to check it. And when I did, I realized, oh crap, I hope I actually needed that one. I didn't. I already had it. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do with this? And I checked the vendor, and it's like, oh man, that's like, it's like 1,000 credits, something really pathetic and awful. Because, you spent, what is it, 1.5 million and, and 1,500 or 1,000 or 1,500 tech points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Awful, horrible, horrible loss. And then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't bound. And then I looked at the GTN, and like people are selling it for like 10 million.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't know if it would sell for that much. So I put it up for like 5. I put it for like half of what it was going for. And maybe someone just turned around and made another 5 million off of me. I don't know. Or maybe someone, got really happy with the $5 million purchase, or 5 million credit purchase. But I made 5 million credits that way.
5 mil.
Minus the, the 1.5 or whatever it is that you buy it from Kaizen for, plus the tech points. But I did not know that was a thing. And there it is. So.
Really funny. I did the exact same thing. I spent it in order to get my tech fragments down so that I could earn some on Jar Jar, and then forgot about it and tried to sell it, but I could never sell it. It just never sold.
Okay.
I must have tried like 4 or 5 times, but it never sold. So I finally consumed it, and it's just been sitting there doing nothing now. But
yeah, I had not even checked that as a thing. I just assumed that if you're buying it, it was going to end up being bind to legacy, but it wasn't. So there you go. I don't know. I guess that's the second tip, because I certainly didn't know it until this last week. So, yeah. So anyway, so Armor and Weapons won on the question. So you were with them, and then I was with Unlocks, the second most popular. Interestingly, packs just 16.6%. I wonder if packs are maybe a little less popular now that there's really just the generic pack. Like everything goes into the pack, and you can get anything out of the pack, but that also makes the packs kind of a little bit generic. So maybe people aren't hyped up to buy the latest pack, because there is no latest pack. It's just the pack, and you can get pretty much anything out of it. And
your odds of getting the thing you want increase every time a new gear set
increase against you every time.
What the hell? Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been a pack guy ever.
Right.
But someone did buy me for my birthday, got me the big, 30-pack thing. I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah. The Hypercrate's awesome. Yeah, that's a fun time.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Opening that up, I'm like, woo! I might have to splurge and get one of those every now and again.
Yeah, that makes some good streaming too, because it takes a while. You get to go through it and ooh and ah over it, and there's almost always like most of it will be kind of disappointing, and then there'll be a couple of interesting, and usually there'll be like because you're hitting the law of large numbers. You got 30 to go from, and you usually will hit a couple of like really, really big ones, which is really, really nice. Cool
things.
Yeah.
But ooh, man. I was like, now I know why these are addicting, because it was really fun to, to open it, because you don't know what you're going to get. You're like,
Yep.
I was watching Marcus's stream last week, and he buys packs, and he says to chat, okay, type in chat what you most want from a pack, and if it hits, I'll give it to you.
That's cool.
And I'm like, I'm stealing that idea. Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, talk about hype, especially if it happens, which is kind of low, but I mean, it could happen. And then they would get something that they obviously want. And Dekion wrote in chat, I missed Charlie's pack opening videos. Yeah, Charlie Kranitoko. His pack opening videos were so much fun. So, but there's no reason to do them nowadays. I think he's kind of.
Oh,
I'm
Jonesy.
not sure if he's playing SWTOR anymore, actually, but yeah, those were really really fun. So, all right, that'll bring us to the Holo feed, and let's see. So, first of all, the first thing is about that free mini pet to celebrate the Star Wars Squadrons launch. Now, just like when the last big Star Wars game launched, and we got the little two-legged hopper droid pet. Now we're going to get a little flying pet for Squadrons. I have not played it. I've talked to lots of people who are enjoying it though, which is awesome. Is that a game you're going to play or have played, Kitty?
No, because like I said, I'm lefty, and I'd have to reconfigure my whole keyboard just to play the game. And I'm not much of a pilot kind of player. I like it. I love watching it because it is gorgeous. That game is really, really pretty.
It is,
Although
yeah.
Maybe someday I'll follow Dekion's lead and get like a proper flight controller and all that stuff. But
yeah, exactly. Back in the day, like in the 90s, when 3D multiplayer games were just starting to be a thing, I had a pretty nice like joystick that I'd do like World War II flight simulators and stuff like that on, and it would be fun to try Squadrons with a setup like that. It'd be all right to do it, GSF style and do it with the keyboard and mouse too, but. I wouldn't mind at all, like actually seeing what that would feel like with a joystick.
I wonder if you could do it with a controller, like an Xbox controller.
I don't know, possibly. I know that people have figured out little ways to play SWTOR using various kinds of devices like that. Yeah. As long as you have a way to map them, it's kind of like the Nostromo. The Nostromo essentially is just a fancy keyboard and other sort of input device, and then what it does is it uses a little program so that it maps, and you can change the the buttons on the Nostromo to correspond to your regular key presses. Right. So as long as the device is something like that, I don't see why it wouldn't work. So as far as like the actual joystick part where you're actually pulling it and it's actually making your X-wing or whatever go up and down at a certain pitch, I don't know how well that would work, but it would be cool to try. I would love it if it would work. Anyway, so it's got a little mini pet. It looks like it's being called the model Corellian Star Drive Vanguard, and it's based on the Vanguard company or Vanguard Squadron. And then they sort of SWTORized it by making it more in tune with the SWTOR look in the game, which is cool. And yeah, I really like it. So that's going to start. October 20th, game 6.1.4's launch. So that is coming up pretty soon. That's, basically 2 weeks from now. And as long as it's free pet for any player who logs into SWTOR from the 20th through Tuesday, November 17th. And that's all you have to do. And it'll just go to all your characters. It'll be waiting in every character's mail. So pretty slick. And that also, the 6.1.4 launch, brings us to kind of some of this other stuff, because we've got the in-game events for October. Relics of the Gree is starting, today, October 6th. It goes for a week, and that is, of course, the one on Ilum. And so all the Gree events are happening. The digitization cube and the helix weapons and the scaling armor and all that stuff is available. Then once 6.1.4 drops, that's again October 20th, that's when we're going to get the Feast of Prosperity, and it's been on the PTS now for a little while. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. They did a little live stream. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So that is going to go from October 20th to November 10th, so a few weeks, not a whole month, but more than just a week. So it's and this is gonna be one of those annual ones. So it's gonna be gone for a whole year, and then it'll presumably come back sometime around late next October. You need to be level 20 or above. Your character does. Over the years, the Hutt Cartel's reputation has taken a hit. The once powerful organization no longer instills respect and fear. To restore the cartel's influence, two up-and-coming Hutts, Burga the Abundant and Duba the Magnanimous, are throwing the most lavish, charitable banquet in history for the galaxy's underprivileged, and if the cartel happens to advance their business interests during the feast, everyone wins. So anyway, so there's going to be a little story that's going to unlock, and every week as the feast continues, there's going to be an extra storyline mission to complete. So you'll actually see more story the further along you go. And there's also like little mini games, and they showed one of them on stream, and it was kind of like one of those serve your patrons food game apps like you see on phones. It was kind of like that, only inside SWTOR, where you have to feed the different tables, in a certain amount of time and stuff like that. So yeah, looks like it's not just like, it's not just another pick up a mission, go out and kill some guys, pick up stuff and come back. There's going to be some actual like different stuff going on, which is cool. The feast attire and feast preparation hat, so it's just basically like a chef's hat apparently. So that's going to be cool. So if you like the chef's hat look from other MMOs, they're going to finally have it in SWTOR. The feast ingredient transport mount, the hairless mudhorn and earthen thurb mini pets, which are both really cute, by the way.
They're really cute.
Yeah, feel the groove and toast emotes. The feel the groove is another dance. It's kind of fun, back and forth, sort of sway like that. I like the toast emote is really cool, where your character gets a glass for a second and you kind of hold up the glass a few times. The overstuffed backpack and food launcher toys, various feast inspired stronghold decorations and more. And there's some. I did add some pictures afterwards. Eleva posted some pictures of what's on the vendor on the PTS, and it shows we have pictures of the pets and the chef's hat and all that sort of stuff. So good stuff coming up. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to see what the story is as well, especially since like they're very cagey about it, because like on the PTS you were only allowed to see the first week's storyline mission. So there's going to be more storyline that no one knows about yet, which is really cool. In addition to those two, there's one more late in October. It's also going to start October 20th. This is one of the 1 week ones. This is going to be the Rakghoul Resurgence, and this time it's coming back to Tatooine. So that's level 25 and above, and it'll have all those usual things, the special boss and the pets, and you can get Dr. Loken back. Actually, you can get Dr. Loken even if you never had him, even if you weren't an agent, all that stuff. So
you could only get Loken back if it was on Alderaan.
No, I'm pretty sure that you can do the missions. Like you might have to go and talk to him on Alderaan, but you should be able to get the drops and things from the Rakghoul event. I'm pretty sure. I haven't done Loken on too many characters other than the agent characters, but I've done it a few times, and I don't remember having any troubles with that. So
Jay says that you can.
Well, cool.
All right, cool. Well, I've always been like, oh, well, I'll have to wait another time.
Yeah.
And then I procrastinate, and then I'll do it another time. Sweet. I love Loken. He's great.
Yeah, I actually like him a lot. He's kind of fun to. If you actually do decide to bring him out as a combat companion, it's fun to just watch him turn into a Rakghoul, jump on people, then turn back into himself afterwards.
He jumps in there quick too.
Right.
He's like, what? It's a cool little animation too when he changes. It's like
yes,
really quick, but it's definitely good.
It's like a little poof, and yeah. And all of a sudden there's a Rakghoul there. So yeah, and then there's kind of one other big thing, which is the conquest changes. We went over this a fair bit. There have been a few more updates since then. They're continuing the rebalancing because of the what they've been seeing on the test server. So they're gonna make the defeat enemy. Like CZ 198 defeat enemy objectives. They're gonna come back actually, because they were gonna gonna restrict them and all that sort of stuff. They're gonna come back, but they're gonna be level bracketed and stuff like that. There's lots of little details, but basically, they're looking to rebalance practically everything point wise in the conquest. And the general idea is if it takes longer, it should give you more points, and if it's pretty easy, then it should take less. So things like some of those instants, like selling the gray items, is going to go way down. Other things like, finishing a weekly for an area and stuff like that is generally going to go up, stuff like that. So they're still and they're still kind of like rebalancing. I mean, even now they're still like looking at the actual numbers. So, and it feels like practically every conquest number is going up or down at this point. But whatever, it's all good. I'm sure I'm sure it'll be fine. And I just hope that as long as I do like CZ 198 and maybe a little bit more, then maybe as long as I get my weekly from that, I'll be happy.
I would love to see them incorporate a system that you could play one character and get conquest multiple times. For instance, you need 50,000 to get conquest. Maybe you get it again at 125 or even 100. Oh, I see. But that way you don't have to keep getting onto another character in order to get the points without feeling like, you're not getting your worth.
Right.
So
like that makes sense. Yeah. It's true that the way it's set up now, it definitely rewards alcoholism big time. Like if you have a lot of alts and you're willing to get on each of them once a week, that's kind of the way to get a lot of points and a lot of rewards from Conquest. So yeah, I agree with that. There's something I also talked about we also talked about in the last OotiniCast are the new augments. Basically, it's like unless you're doing real hard, bleeding edge end game stuff, it's not going to affect things too much. They're not changing how hard Duxon is. That's not the point. The point is like if you're already doing Duxon and you have it on farm, then at least this gives you something else that you can work on. The new augments were going to be crazy expensive, and they are reducing the costs a little bit. That was one of their posts. The costs are instead of the 14, instead of 25 RPM 13s, it's going to be 14. Instead of 15 OEM 37s, it's going to be 7, and it's still going to take 5 legendary embers. So they are reducing it a little bit, but it's still going to take quite a bit because we know that's like, you're only going to get 1 or 2 drops from a boss. There's only a few ways that you can get the other kind from PvP. It's definitely not going to be easy. So it's, if you're doing bleeding edge operation stuff, this will help, and if not, you probably will never have to worry about it.
Yeah. The crafting of these things is still digital water torture. It's too much.
It's a lot, yeah.
I understand that the amounts of the augments are giving you are they're pretty good. They're not as bad as some of the past augments have been, but still, there's just so much to get. Yeah, it takes so much time to get them, and spoiler alert, they're gonna raise the cap again. So it feels like by the time you get all your stuff set up, they're probably gonna end up raising the level cap and or adding something else, and you're just like,
right.
But anyway,
not for a while, but yes, we know it's going to happen. That's how MMOs, that's how it works. So, right. So, for example, let's go back to yet more conquest changes. And the one I was interested in is CZ, just because it feels like a lot of people actually do use that as one of their main sort of like, how am I going to get conquest really fast? So the CZ 98 daily area, the defeat enemies 1 and 2, defeat enemies 1 is down a few hundred, but defeat enemies 2 is actually going up, so it's actually rewarding you for the one that takes longer. The mission completes is the same at 2,000, and then the weekly mission is up 300, so going from 4,000 to 4,300. So prior to 6.1.4, if you did like the mission completes, defeat enemies, and the weekly mission, it'd be 11,000, and at 6.1.4, it'll be 11,300. So slight increase actually, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think that's all the missions. I think that's one mission, and then the other 2 is how they're doing that math or whatever. They're actually, I just don't. I think that just doesn't include the defeat enemies too. So the conquest points is going up for just the mission turn-ins. It looks like, and then defeat enemies 1 is down a bit, but defeat enemies 2 is up a bit. So you'll definitely need to get defeat enemies 2, which actually isn't hard because you have to do more than defeat enemies 1 just to get that one mission. So then you just need to kill like another 15 things after that. It's not that difficult. It's
From what I've seen,
not that difficult at all.
all the changes seem pretty fair. They all make sense. It doesn't seem like a gratuitous,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little, yeah, exactly. They're just for me. It's like it's mostly just getting rid of the little cheesy thing where if I end up like 5,000 short, I can't just sell my gray items and immediately get to conquest.
To pick it up, put a chair down.
Chair up, chair down, chair up, chair down. That's right. So yeah, so there we go. All right. The 6.1.4 live stream, unfortunately, as we mentioned in the last episode, was 2 days after the last episode. So it's kind of like, fortunately, this stuff I did take a look at the live stream, and for the most part, it was stuff that they had talked about and kind of gone over beforehand. They went into a little more detail, but it really wasn't that big of a difference. There's a lot of things where I just wrote, discussed in last OotiniCast. They even talked about like PvP and how they want to be, harsher and have quicker penalties for people who are being toxic. The one thing that we did get an answer on that we were curious about last show was the legacy ignore. So it is the way that we were hoping it would be, which is where it is going to be combining all of your character's ignore lists into one giant legacy ignore list, and it will ignore every legacy that it ignores by default. So there you go.
It's so great.
Yeah. So it is the way we wanted. So like you don't have to do it for every one of your characters. It'll just every one of your characters. If any of them ignore someone, it ignores that character and all that person's legacy. Awesome. Perfect.
That's so great.
Yeah. So this is 6.1.4. It hasn't happened yet. And again, just like it's kind of working now, if you ignore someone, they will not matchmake you in PvE, but they still will in PvP. And they discussed why. And I always thought it had more to do with the fact that just fewer people play PvP and they just didn't want to completely wreck the queues. But apparently what they were saying is it's more about potential exploits, where it's like, okay, if I ignore, if you won't queue up with someone because you ignore them in PvP, you can pick and choose people not to be queued up with, essentially. So anyway, which is fine. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as I can ignore a person and not just their character.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eric also talked about legacy friends, the idea of legacy friends. They haven't done it yet, and it's not really even in the pipe yet, but it is something that they talked about. But the idea is kind of the opposite of legacy ignore. If you just friend someone, can you just friend their legacy so that you don't have to friend your friends on every character with every one of their characters? And the reason that hasn't happened yet is because they want to include, if they were going to do it, they wanted to include the possibility of you having private characters to go on if you just want to have like a quiet session, you don't want to be bothered, you're not looking to do guild stuff or whatever, and they wanted to have that functionality where you can have a character that's sort of exempt from this for people who want to do that. And that makes sense to me. So I can see where that would be very tricky. So they
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, in past games, in Star Wars Galaxies, they had that option to turn off the ability for people to see you,
right,
or to send you whispers and stuff like that, which was great because every once in a while I'd be like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to go and do my thing. And so just turned it off, and it was really great. That would be a wonderful addition. That
seems good. Yeah. And it seems like that would be a good way to do it. Just almost separate from the friends thing would be just to, turn that off, and like your guild can't see you, your friends, can't see you. You just have a nice, invisible session for, doing whatever you want to and unwind. So that's cool.
What I would love to see is that anybody sending you, when you ignore someone, when they shit talk you, it sends it back to them. Sends them whispers. BioWare, take that idea.
That's a new toy.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Let's see. In general Star Wars news, the Star Wars The Mandalorian Art and Imagery Volume 1 is going to be coming out. It's kind of like in pre-order right now. There's going to be like a collector's edition and everything else. There's a couple pictures in the show notes. And it looks pretty amazing. We've seen various things that they've done for the show before, and the art has always been amazing. So I'm sure this book is going to be just incredible. I'm very tempted to get it. I'm not sure if I will or not, because right now this may not be the best time, but
yeah.
But I am tempted for sure, and I do hope it sells well, and I'm sure there's gonna be lots of cool stuff in it. So,
Even that something? The cover looks awesome.
Yeah, is that something that you're tempted by?
Nope. The house got hungry today and ate. I had to pay a plumber $300. So
yeah.
I gotta set back a little bit for a little bit.
Plumbers are expensive. Yep. Yeah. There we go. All right. Anything else, Kitty?
I think that's it. Chill.
All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do /cjoin Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat room.
And see you next time.
I'll see you guys later.
All right. Stop in this. Thanks for coming, everyone. And we'll be putting this out as a podcast tomorrow, obviously, as usual. And have a good one. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Stopping the stream.